will show you a red dot. Now it started the recording. So once again, I welcome Professor Berta Otero from Argentina. She has been a very famous ESL teacher. Her specialization in pedagogy or phonology, of teaching
Not very
phonology. Pardon?
Very famous. No. I'm more famous outside my country than in my own country. I'm not famous there. Here in Argentina, I'm not famous.
You're not famous? So what? But online you're quite popular. Online you're quite popular. Because she got interviewed on 11th February, because she had been very much, channelizing herself through online mode rather than the offline. And she is currently living in Argentina. She has specialization in phonology and pedagogy of teaching English. She is also very much into, you may say, business English teaching, English to multidisciplinary students, like business communication to hospitality students, tourism, and you may say varied kind of disciplines she has been engaging online. And moreover, why she has been so graciously been invited here, because she has written a book, and it's an e-book. It was earlier not in publication 2018, but approved kindly, but then she got self-published in 2021. And that ebook is titled as Learning English Through Films, and her work is through the film David Copperfield. Means she is also very expert in writing not only the content, but also transcribing scripts for the films. And therefore she's been a wonderful, you may say she has language acquisition skills with regard to acquiring from the films, running films. So here we are going to have her lecture on Charles Dickens brought to the cinema, especially from the movie David Copperfield. And let's see how she would engage all of us with her lecture. Wish you good luck and happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
much, Shaishri. It's an honor to be here. I'm very happy to be here. You are giving me a big help, because as I told you, nobody knows me in my country. And thanks you, I will be known all over the world. Thank you very much. I taught remotely, but since 2 years, for 2 years, because when the lockdown began, I began giving lessons remotely online. But the other places where I worked were presentially, not online. In the Instituto Educativo Argentino, where people study to be technicians of tourism, public relationships, foreign trade, brokers, and hospitality, I taught them presentially, not online. Well, I would like to share my screen with you. I will show you a PowerPoint telling you the benefits of the book. For example, this is the front page of the book. And you know that while making the title of his book, Dickens wrote it 15 times, 15 titles, because he wrote one and she didn't like it. He tore it out and write another one. And the previous...
Ma'am,
Sí.
can you see her screen? Ma'am, can you see her screen?
You can't?
No, I
Yes, I
can't.
I can, I can.
Oh, wait.
Uh,
Let me just, yes, here it is available. Good. Thank you.
no, yes, I was telling that, for example, the previous title of David Copperfield's book was The Personal History, Adventures, Experiences, and Observations of David Copperfield the Younger of Blunderstone Rookery. This is a long title. So he ended up using David Copperfield, only 2 words, his name. Well, you see that using the book and the movie, students will have a source of new vocabulary, idioms, and expressions. Lots of idioms, lots of expression, because as you know, this is unauthentic material. And it has all the complexity the language has. For example, it is not like a textbook that teaches you English from the very beginning and it gives you easy topics, easy grammar topics, and then it continues giving you more complex grammar. Now, with the book and the movie, we have all the language as it is. And you will know a lot of new vocabulary, expressions, and idioms. Well, what I did was to write the script, to add context, because if you have only what the character says, perhaps reading the book, you don't understand anything. But giving a context, where they are, how they are, their emotions. So all this I added to the script. And I made lots of activities to practice the 4 skills, to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing. The 4 skills. And I didn't tell you that the book is divided in 18 chapters. Each chapter corresponds to the analysis, the language analysis of 10 minutes movie. So in each part, there is a relevant grammar there. So I took that grammar and I explained at the back of every chapter, I explained the grammar relevant on that part of the movie. And the students will do exercises on that grammar point. So students are learning grammar in context. The grammar that appears there, not just grammar in its totality. Well, there we have automatic linked correction. So at the back of the book, there is the answer key. This is a guide for the students because they want to practice themselves, and perhaps they think they made a mistake or something, so they can check what I wrote, the answer I wrote for them, and it's in a way it's a help for them to get corrected. No, but anyhow they can make any other correction version by themselves. Well, the next slide is about multimedia, because how can you get the movie? You can get the movie from YouTube. So I am combining multimedia to make the book, because the movie is the oral platform for the book. In a way, I can say that the book is the workbook of the movie, the movie's workbook. Well, as I told you about authentic audiovisual material, because you are watching the movie and then you are reading the book. Well, and the book has, well, we are reading classical English literature. In fact, the original book, can you see me? Because I only can see my screen, but I don't know if you can see me.
Yes, we all can see you. You're showing us a book.
Yes, this book has 900 pages. This is the original book. So you see that while making the movie, they adapted and it is shorter. And they made some changes in the plot and there are less characters. But they have taken many quotations from the original book. So in a way, you are reading a classical English literature by reading my book, because there are many quotations from the original book. And it's easier because perhaps it's harder to read all the original book because it's so long. And my book has only 300 pages. And there is a lot of activities and images. Well, here we have an easy learning display because, as I told you, it is divided in 18 chapters. So the length of the movie is nearly 2 hours, 180 minutes. So each chapter belongs to 10 minutes movie. And there are sections. For example, the first one is the reading section, when you read the script with the context. Then the glossary or the lexics section. There you have the glossary and exercises to do with the glossary. For example, sentence completing with completing the blanks with the words from the glossary. And there is a speaking and writing section, listening section. There are activities for lower level students. These are true or false activities and multiple choice, choose the better choice, A, B, or C, for lower level students. And the purpose is to understand the movie completely, from the beginning to the end. That's why I wrote here, complete understanding of the whole movie. This is the goal and the purpose. Because in a way, you are guided by myself in the book with that goal. Well, and you are going to know or to learn English through the novel's characters. So this is a biographical work, because Dickens himself suffered a lot when he was a child. He has to work, and he has his father sent to prison because of debt. And in a way, in the movie, it is shown that David is suffering a lot because he gets, is an orphan. He loses his mother and father. And that man here is the landlord who is going to lodge him when he is in London working. You will see that her stepfather evicts him from the house and sends him to work in a warehouse, in a bottling warehouse. They had to bottle wine. They had to clean the bottles and then replenish with wine or with liquor. Well, and this woman here is his aunt. His aunt is Miss Betsy, And the actress that plays the role of Miss Betsy is Sally Fields. And this one is Richard Williams. And I was going to say that the students, while learning about the characters, they are going to transfer that knowledge to their lives. And in a way, they are going to know how to express their emotions or what happens in their lives, because it is biographical. The fact that being biographical helps them to acquire the language of life. Well, as you see, watching a movie arises a lot of emotions. And according to Piaget, which is a psychologist, he says that when you are exposed to emotions, you learn better because you remember. If it's an emotion is of happiness, perhaps you remember better things. Well, as you can see, that my book has a lot of activities, so the teacher doesn't have to do anything. She only has to open the book and work with the students, because I wrote here lesson planning, time saving. Teacher saves time. Sorry, teacher save time. They don't need to plan anymore. It is all done in the book. Well, and you can see that it is motivating, attractive, entertaining, because they are watching a movie and they are eager to know what happens to the character and how the plot continues. And the approach I use is the natural approach, the audiovisual approach. And this is a natural way of learning, because people learn English by social interaction from the very beginning when they are children. And watching the movie, they are immersed in David's life, and they can stop the movie, rewind it, watch it again and again and again. And the repetition is the key, because children are exposed to the same language every day. And that's the way they acquire the language. Listening and listening. For example, greetings every day. Good morning, good morning. They acquire how to say good morning, how to say I want a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever. Well, the length of the book gives you, you can spend 1 year, because the book has 18 chapters and lots of activities to do. So you can use it 1 year learning time. Well, it is suitable for self-study students, because as I told you, they have the answer key and they can study by themselves without the teacher. And I have it in hard copy, which is the book. I am going to show you the physical book. And it is also in PDF format, which is the ebook. Well, the target readership is intended for students of intermediate to advanced level of English. So a person who does not know anything about English can't do it, but intermediate students can, and onwards. Well, I wrote here non-compulsory activities, because this is up to you. You can skip you can add, you can invert, you can take out the activities you doesn't like and put or use the ones you like. It is not something that you have to do this and this and this. No, this is up to the teacher and up to the students. They select or they choose what they want to do first. For example, if they want to watch the first chapter, which is the 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes of the movie, they can. If they want to read the script first, they can. If they want to know about grammar first, they can. And this is especially made to use in a workshop like this one, which is cinematography and literature workshop. This is just for this workshop here. And these are the people who helped me to proofread this book. One of them is Professora Alejandra Lameiro. She was my former teacher of oral language and written language and culture also. I had her 3 years, 3 years running. Professora Marcela Villan lives near my house. She's a friend of mine. Traductora Laura Veratti and traductora and Professora Nadia Galati. She is my schoolmate, but from the Teaching Training College. And the digital design and editing was made by Professora Luciana Maria Dini, because she is a teacher of informatic technology. And I wasn't very well prepared in computing, not to put things in the right position. Because as I told you, I am not young. I am 65 years old, and all this new technology, I am not acquainted with all this new technology. Bueno, this is the end of the presentation here, because I give the link to the movie, which is this one, my webpage, and my phone number. And I can show you perhaps a bit of, I have to, this is the book. But first, I would like to show you the trailer. And the trailer is, is here. Can you see my screen? Hello.
Yes, I can see.
Yes. Well, this is 1 minute.
Yes, we
You
can
can
see.
see. Yes, I am going to show you the presentation of the trailer of the movie, so you have a big idea of a short idea of what is it about. So I don't know if you can listen. Let's see if you can listen.
It is the story of a boy.
Can you listen?
Yes,
Yes, we all can listen.
Yes.
Requires a great deal of correcting.
Of all the boys in the world, I believe this is the worst boy.
I'll conquer that fellow. If it costs him all the blood he has. To it.
Goodbye, my child.
Sent away
Your mama is dead.
to find his place in the world.
What should I do with him?
I should wash him. Who grew up to be a man, discovering the power of the heart.
So you fancy yourself in love, do you?
I adore her with all my soul.
Does her father know?
You are not to communicate in any way with my daughter. Is that agreed?
The touch of fate.
I think I was too young to be a wife.
The pangs of grief.
She died like a child that was going to sleep. We must live misfortune downtrod.
The memories of childhood.
This is my great nephew, David Copperfield.
Oh, honored, I'm sure.
And the threat of enemies.
I've always hated you, Copperfield.
But the story he would tell would embrace every part
Run, Copperfield, run!
of a harsh world still filled with beauty
You say you're not in love, Trot?
and the destiny of an amazing life. Anthony Andrews, Eileen Atkins, Hugh Dancy, Max Dolby, Sally Field, Michael Richards, in the Charles Dickens masterpiece, David Copperfield.
Well, let's continue watching my book. I'm going to share it with you. Can you see the front page?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, this is a short introduction about myself, a bio, and a bio of Charles Dickens bio, what the book contents. So you see, this is Agnes, Emily Hamilton is Agnes. This is Miss Merston, Eileen Atkins. Sally Fields is Miss Betsy. Michael Richards is Mr. Makoba. This man is the ones that was at school, the hall monitor at school when he was at school. This is his mother, Clara Copperfield. And this man, Mr. Quinion, is Mr. Merston's partner. This is Peggotty, which is the maid of Clara. Miss Dora Spenlow was his first wife. James Tifford, a friend from childhood, from school. This man is Mr. Dick. Mr. Dick was a protege of Miss Betsy, Miss Betsy Trotwood. And this man is Uriah Heep, the evil from the story. This man here is Mr. Creakle, which was the headmaster of the school. And that man is Mr. Edward Merston, David's stepfather, another very evil man. This is Emily, or little Emily. She is the niece of Mr. Peggotty, and Mr. Peggotty is Peggotty's brother. He lives in Yarmouth in a boat made like a house. This is Mr. Barkis, the coachman, and Mr. Barkis gets married with Peggotty. This is Mr. Whitfield, who is Agnes' father.
Willing. I know that sentence, Barkis is willing, is very important.
Can you repeat?
I said that sentence, Barkis is willing.
Yes, this appears all the time. Yes, but he always says, Barkis is willing. Yes, it is repeated in the book and in the movie also. You're right. And this man is Mr. Jorkins and Mr. Spenlow. Both of them were partners in a legal business where David worked for the first time being a trainee, because he got the degree of lawyer and he wanted to practice there. His aunt bought him articles of apprenticeship. This man is Tony Traddles, another friend of childhood and of school. And this one is Emily, but when he was young. The other was when he was an adult. This boy is mainly potatoes. A workmate, while David was working in the bottling warehouse. And this is Ham Peggotty, who is the nephew of Peggotty and Mr. Peggotty. This woman is Mrs. Creakle. Mrs. Creakle is the wife of the headmaster of Salem School headmaster. This man is Dr. Chillip, the one who assisted Clara when he was giving birth to his child, David. Well, this is Tony Traddles when he was young. And this is Mrs. Heap. This is Mr. Heap's mother, the evil man, no? Well, this is Mrs. Macoba, Mr. Macoba's wife. This is Mrs. Gamage. This is a protege of Mr. Peggotty because he was the wife of Mr. Peggotty's partner, and as his husband died, she was left very poor and ill, and Mr. Peggotty wanted to help her, and he took her to his house to live with them. This is Miss Horton. She appears in, perhaps, I don't know if it is a real character of the original book. This is, she is perhaps one of the changes they made while they're doing the adaptation of the book. This is Miss Kex. I don't know if she is in the book. Do you know that? Well, here you have Peter Medak, which is the director, and Eleanor Ragalji, the cinematographic person. Well, and the script was written by John Goldsmith, and this movie was taken into a series to be broadcast through television. Well, the producer are Hallmark Entertainment and TNT. Morgan Sullivan is another producer, Robert Halmy, Greg Smith, David Picker, John Davis, and Michael Pitwood. All of these are the producers. Well, in this part, I explain how to use the book. The movie is without subtitles, so they are going to listen without subtitles. So if they don't understand, they resort to the written part, and the written part is the reading section is here. So this letter, this slant letter here is my intervention, no? My production. I highlighted, for example, in bold, these some terms or words. For example, I say the meaning of all in bold type are explained in the glossary section of each part. Perhaps they don't know this word, acquaintances. And the part which is highlighted in yellow here is one of the grammar points relevance that appear, and I'm going to teach, for example, the difference between so and such and the usage. And the past perfect, because appears also the past perfect. Well, this is an investigation work because, as I told you, I am not a native speaker of English. So I encountered many things that I didn't know. So I have to search and investigate by myself. Why is that? Why Mr. is not with a dot? Because it is British English and not American. American put the dot, but British don't. And for example, this one, if you will excuse me, madam, this is not a conditional structure. This is a polite request. But I wanted to, I had to search for that because I got impressed myself. Why was this if here? Because I know in conditional sentences, the if clause doesn't have the will. It has the present, simple present in the if clause. But as it was here in the if clause, but it was not a clause. It was a polite request. When I told you that the 14 titles about and I explained what is Blunderstone. It's a village in a civil parish in Wabini district of English County of Suffolk. It is in the north of the country. Well, you see that only 3 pages of written text. Then you have images. This is Miss Betsy watching from the outside window, watching inside the house from the window. And they used the first conditional here, and I highlighted it in blue because I will explain that point at the back. Well, this is the glossary. In the glossary, you find, for example, that the verb to affront. It's a regular verb, transitive, and is used in formal situations. That's why I put an F here with capital letter. The meaning is to insult or to offend, and is used with the preposition by in passive voice. This is in Spanish, no? It's insultar, ofender. And this is a sentence sample. His insolent speech affronted us. The teacher was affronted by the swear words the students were saying. And here you have the phonetical transcription. There is a schwa here because the first syllable is not accented. And the accent is in the second syllable, front, affront. And do you know phonetic symbols? Perhaps the students doesn't know. I don't know. You teachers, I am sure you know, but the students, do you know phonetic symbols? They can write in the chat if they don't, or if they do know. Well, so, only 7 glossaries. Well, this expression, tot, 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 is an onomatopoeia of disapproval or reprimand. Here, God bless, because when he sees, when Miss Betsy goes, the first time he goes to David's house, she doesn't know Clara. And it was dark because it was the evening, and he wanted to watch her better. So he took a candle and put it closer to Clara's face and says, God bless my heart. You're a very baby, she says. Entonces, the verb bless here is used in the subjunctive mood. It doesn't take S in the third person singular. God bless my heart. No, God blesses, because it is in the subjunctive. Here, then, as she was pregnant, Clara was pregnant, and she was due to have his baby in the hours following. And Miss Betsy says, sit you down, child, sit you down. And instead of saying sit down, she puts this pronoun here between the verb and the particle. And I explain here that this separable phrasal verb is used to address old or ill people to help them to sit down. She says that way because it is used for that purpose. Bueno, let's continue watching. These are the activities to do with the glossary. I put some sentences and they have to complete the blanks with the words from the glossary. I also ask them to make their own sentences because those sentences were made by me. No? Then you have to, now it is your turn to make your own sentences with the words from the glossary. You may consult dictionaries to look up the correct collocation because perhaps students doesn't know which word go together with another word, with another verb, another adjective, etc. Then I ask the students to read again the script and look for another unknown words they might encounter and make similar glossary, looking the words up in two dictionaries, a monolingual one and a bilingual one, and make sentences or copy the sentences because many dictionaries gives you a sentence sample. So it's, in a way, it's good to copy. That way you get accustomed to the use because making sentences by themselves, by their own, if they are not exposed to English, they could make some mistakes and write the collocation that are not correct or are not usable. Well, here we have the reading and listening section, and these are 7 questions for the students to get guided to later on tell the account of the story of what has happened in those 10 minutes of watching the movie. This is the speaking and writing section. They have to write the account of those or retell the story of those 10 minutes. This is work in groups because I ask to play the volume off and watch one scene. And they have to perform the actors. One student will be, for example, Miss Betsy, and the other one will be Clara. And they have to guess what are they talking about, what is their conversation. In a way, they are trying to speak, but not using the same words of the movie.
So can I interrupt? Can I interrupt? Is it like a dumb charade where you make them play the game, or is it role playing?
Yes, it's a role play. It's a role play. But you know that this was made before the pandemic. So if they are at school, they can form groups and practice. And I have the television there with the movie for them to watch that part. I play the volume off and they began to perform what the characters are saying. And this one is a writing activity because they have to choose a character, a character's rendering, and write a paraphrase writing version of their own. Well, then in the listening activity, I wrote again all the script, but I erased some parts. For example, this part. So they have to listen and complete the blanks. They can listen 3 times or much more times. And in a way, this helps them because they are reading again. This is repetition. And the key to learning a language is repetition, being exposed again to the same script they have read before. These ones are the multiple choice activities because they have to choose the best response for these statements, A, B, C, or D. And this is for students of lower level of English because they only have to choose. And this also, true or false activities. Well, and here comes the grammar point, grammar section. I explain the past perfect. I give this frame with colors, no? Separating the subject, the auxiliary, the past participle, giving the examples, the positive, the negative, and the question form. And here they have the exercises. They have to put the verbs in brackets into the past perfect tense. Well, the same conditional sentences first type. I explain, and they have to do the exercises, and so on such. And the exercises. And I ask them to write 3 or 4 sentences using the structure so and such, using the structure first conditional and using the past perfect. Well, this is the second chapter, and it has the same structure as the other ones. So we can watch the movie. I don't know what time is it. Let's see, because
You have 15 minutes. Professor Berta, you have 15 minutes.
Okay. We can watch the first 10 minutes of the movie. So if I put the, can you see?
Sure.
Sure?
Yes.
Well, let's play the movie.
apologies, ladies. A most unpleasant scene. But I thought you should know the truth about that man.
Mr. Copperfield, I believe you did it for her. To save her.
I hope she is saved, Mom. But the truth is, I did it for myself.
Ay, ¿qué hice? No.
To save myself. Oh, if you'll excuse me. Miss Horton, Mom.
Such a very distinguished man.
Personal history and experiences of David Copperfield the Younger. Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life, or whether that station will be held by anybody else, these pages must show. To begin my life with the beginning of my life, I here record that I was born at Blunderston in Suffolk. I was a posthumous child. My father's eyes had closed upon the light of this world 6 months when mine opened on it. An aunt of my father's, and consequently a great aunt of mine, Miss Betsy Trotwood, was the principal magnate of our family. My father had once been a favourite of hers, I believe, but she was mortally affronted when he married my mother without first presenting her for inspection and approval. Miss Betsy and my father never met again, and she'd never seen my mother.
The rookery. Indeed. Where are the rooks? I see no such bird. Ha!
This, then, was the state of matters on what I may be excused for calling that important day.
Open the front door! Mrs. David Copperfield, I think. Yes? Miss Betsy Trotwood. You have heard of her, I dare say. I have had that pleasure. And now you see her. Oof. Oof. Tut, 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 tut. Don't do that. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, bless my heart. You're a very baby. I'm a childish widow. And I will be a childish mother if I live. Nonsense. Sit you down, child. Sit you down. In the chair by the fire. The rookery, indeed. Where are the rooks? What, Mom? Rooks, large black birds of the crow family. There are none here now. In the name of heaven, why the rookery? You mean the house? But of course I mean the house. What do you mean? The name was Mr. Copperfield's choice on account of your nests in the garden. David Copperfield all over. Calls our house a rookery and there's not a rook near it. Takes the birds on trust because he sees the nest. Mr. Copperfield is dead. How dare you speak unkindly of him?
I know. Sorry. I put in it again. Ay, ¿qué hice? A ver si cerré todo. Can you listen to me, Shri?
Yes, we can listen to you.
Yes. I thought I went away. No. This is the book. Can you see my book? No.
Yeah.
Now.
It's visual.
Yes. So there are only 5 minutes left for the finish of the workshop.
You can take your full time. You have got still 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. Because how many students are there connected?
In my business account, there are around 17 people connected, and outside the business account, 14. So total 31 students are connected, along with some inside faculty, maybe saying, or monitoring all this technically.
Yes. So may I ask them if they have any questions? Perhaps they can write in the in the chat.
Berta, can I ask you 2 or 3 things?
Yes, tell me.
You're invited.
With permission of Jayashri, I must ask the main speaker, what made you take David Copperfield as a book to teach the students English, reading, writing, and learning and speaking skills, the 4 components that we teach? 1. Second, my question is that when you ask the students to do a role play, do they necessarily rewrite in their own words a new script? And how far is it removed from the old script? Do you follow my question?
Repeat me the last one.
Okay. When you ask your students to do a role playing, then while doing the role playing, do they rewrite portions? Then if so, how far is it from the earlier script?
Yes, they have to use their own words. But perhaps they can use the words learned in the script.
But tell me something, they are learners. So that means when they write, either they will take words from the script that they have seen, from the film that they have seen, or they will read and then rewrite. Is that the approach?
Sorry, I couldn't understand the question.
Okay.
May I interrupt?
No,
May I?
Jayashree, I have to get this point clear because I teach this book. I am asking that when they write, when they write their own script, because their language level is not high, they are slow learners. So for such students, do they take words from the script?
No, yes. This is intended for, these activities are intended for the advanced students. Lower level students only do the true or false or the choose the best option. So if they don't have enough vocabulary, they can't do. Yes, they will try. If they can't,
What is your advanced learners level? What level is that student, advanced learners?
C or B.
Okay, is it C or B? Okay, fine, perfect, I understood. Thank you. Jayashree, sorry I stopped you.
Yeah, I would like to add in something here. Like, as I'm from Jaipur also, and I have come across, there's one school, MGD. And when my daughter was studying in MGD in 11th or 12th or maybe ninth, she was a very good writer, basically. Just like Berta, she could transcribe the writings in her own words. So she used to prepare the scripts, and they were given a novel, a prescribed novel of their syllabus, Jane Eyre's novel. And then she has to develop the dialogues out of that novel for the team, and finally they have to present. Of course, Professor Jaya ma'am is right that very much this difficult for slow learners or young learners, or maybe even the area in which we are teaching currently. It's only possible in ICS schools or in public schools. Well-groomed students can follow it up. But I like two things from this Berta's book. What I noticed today is, number one, very good exercise she has picked up, like choosing from two dictionaries. So means she's trying to acquaint students with their bilingual dictionary also, and she's also trying to make students aware of the monolingual dictionary. It's a very wonderful idea to make the students grasp with the vocabulary and lexical items. And another thing, I want to raise a question to Berta. Berta, how can you elaborate upon non-compulsory activities?
No,
Berta, are
they
you
are
there?
not compulsory. No, not at all. If they don't like the activity, they skip it and do another one. No, it's up to the teacher and up to the student. This is only a guide for them.
Oh, but Berta, I want to congratulate you because this is a very interesting way of learning a language. And also I find that it is very informative because the student gets to understand the book, which is of 900 pages, in only 300 pages of workbook. So it's very interesting, Berta, and I am very thankful that I got to hear you today. I look forward to it again.
Well, thank you very much. Well,
Anybody else? Any other participant want to raise something or comment to Berta? A complimentary comment?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
good evening.
Myself, Dr. Deepa Rastogi, English lecturer in government school and also research paper writer. Ma'am, I would like to ask Madam Berta one question. She explained wonderfully in a very extraordinary manner the depth of the literature. Generally, we Indian do not have such potential and do not have such approach to go through the depth of literature. The same question I am going to ask, how do we make our students, whether in school or in colleges, make unable to understand literature? How to raise the awareness for literature among students? Do you understand my question?
No, the last part I didn't get it.
Ma'am, I want to ask the question: what method should we adapt to make children more smart in literature, so that they may prefer literature to study? They go through the references, dialogues, and all the micro observational things of literature? How to attract them in literature?
Well, watching a movie is a splendid way to attract them to literature, because this is literature. The movie
Yes, ma'am.
itself is literature. And
Yeah.
watching the colors, they get excited, they want to know, they are pleased.
Okay.
They are learning with pleasure, and they are approaching literature in this way.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You have to search for movies that
Okay.
are literature works, books. There are
Yes.
many movies that are based on books.
Yes.
But the
Yes,
best
you are
one,
Berta,
right.
yeah.
Berta, have you written any other such workbook apart from David Copperfield?
No, I only wrote the script of 2 or 3 more, but I haven't made all the activities. But because this is simple, you can, in the way while you watching the movie and writing the script, or you can do the other activities. It comes to you naturally as teachers. Let's do this, let's do that. You can play. We can play with your profession. You can do this guide made by me, but you can do your version. It's the
I
same.
would like to add a comment here in a commendable. I'll say it's a commendable work. In what sense? Like every teachers prefer to allure students, attract students to watch movies, English movies. But I think they never try to create such exercises out of that movie which they have made students to watch. And if even if they prepare some exercises, they are mostly temporary, for temporary kind of arrangements. But this is a permanent sample for all teachers across the world. It's real good hard work. It's
Yes,
I'll
let's give her a hand.
Yes. It's better perhaps if they get the script. That way, the teacher is not going to work so hard as I did. No.
So next
Perhaps.
day we will be meeting you next day with going to learn how you have to practice with students your course. So we have with Berta 8 hours class, and out of 8 hours class, she has taken 1 hour class today. So rest 7 hours class are still left. She would not be available on Tuesday. She would not be
No.
available on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. On those days, we have other lectures of other prominent resourceful persons from literary field or language field. So meanwhile, we would all request all of you to at least watch the movie before we come to the next class of Bertha, so that we can take interest. She would be asking some question or exercises also later on in her 1.5 hour class. So kindly do come prepared. It's a model for us. You may say a sample to learn the pedagogy, how to teach English from films.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you, Bertha. And to all attendees, I'm really grateful. You're supporting not only Bertha, but also Bhupal Nobles University. And this institution that is celebrating its centenary year of 100 years founding under the aegis of Vidya Pracharni Sabha run by Bhupal Noble Sansthan. So we are grateful to all veterans, to all contributors, to attendees, and to our most endeared honorable chairperson. She is real beacon, a torchlight, backbone for all of us to boost up the things. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you.
See you tomorrow, all of you.
Well, so we are going to continue. Perhaps we can do some activities. We can read the script. For example, one student will read a character and another student will read another character, and we will do the activities.
I request all participants to please come tomorrow because you will be learning a pedagogy in English teaching, how to bring the transmission of film in class, in structures, in lexical way, or in other pattern to give a meaningful class to the students. So please join in tomorrow. It's a request so that you can learn the exercises and to answer those exercises.
Yes, and for the students, it is not necessary that they watch the movie because perhaps they don't understand. It's better to watch the movie bit by bit in my lessons. So
All right.
we've already watched the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
So perhaps next class, no, but the other class, we will watch the other 10 minutes. And that's it.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you,
And
ma'am.
so on. You're welcome. I'm very happy. Well,
Nice day to you. Thank you.
so I have to, I don't know how to not share the screen with you.
You just leave the call.
Yes.
Leave the call. There is a red tab showing the phone call. You leave that. You just click that red tab. So you will be leaving.
Now I can see you because I was blind. I couldn't see you. But now I can, because I have never used this application, this